So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on supply chain intelligence with SAP Signavio, hosted by Westernacher. So let me just start by introducing myself and my colleagues with me here on the webinar today. I'm Emma. I'm a business process analyst at Westernacher, and I'll be guiding you through today's session alongside my colleagues Matthias and Philip. If you guys want to introduce yourself or say a few words.
Yeah, good morning also from my side. Very happy to be here. I will guide you through the process insights part today.
Hello, good morning from my side. I'm Philip Wüst. I hope my audio works, and I will be going to the deep dive into process intelligence on EWM with you today.
Awesome. Philip, your audio does work. Nice. So today's webinar is part of our supply chain webinar series, where we'll be exploring innovative ways to tackle supply chain challenges and deliver value. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today, and we're excited to share insights and actionable strategies with you. On the next slide, we've got a quick overview of what we'll be covering today in the session. So I'll start by introducing Westernacher Consulting as a company and our expertise in SAP Signavio solutions. Then we'll be highlighting current challenges in supply chains that businesses face today. Then we'll be diving into how business process management with SAP Signavio can help overcome these challenges. And from there, we'll provide a quick insight into the supply chain, showing how SAP Signavio tools can deliver valuable results. And then we'll also touch on root cause analysis in the warehouse to improve operational efficiency. And finally, we'll wrap it up by discussing the future roadmap for supply chain intelligence and also open the floor for a Q&A session at the end. We encourage you to share your questions throughout the session, just in the chat function, and we'll address as many as we can during the Q&A at the end. So on the next slide, we've got an overview of Westernacher as a company. So before we dive into the solutions, I'll just introduce you to us. We're a medium-sized consulting firm, and we've been a trusted name in the industry for over 55 years, with over 30 of those as an SAP partner. Came about in the summer of '69. Our team of over 1,000 experts work globally to deliver innovative solutions, and we're really proud to lead in areas like extended warehouse management and SAP Signavio, offering some of the best end-to-end services for business process transformation and operational excellence. What really sets us apart, I think, is that we're 100% uniquely employee-owned, which means our success is directly aligned with delivering value for our clients. And with our net zero carbon commitment as well, we aim for sustainability in everything we do. So why Westernacher? On the next slide, thank you. You can see that we bring together certified consultants with SAP's expert competency level, which is a new accomplishment backed by a strong partnership with SAP Signavio. We focus on end-to-end value proposition with strong expertise in all SAP fields. So our delivery is truly value-centered, and therefore we offer engagements of different sizes and with different focuses. These can be short engagements to enable customers through training, or longer partnerships for operational excellence. And everything we do is guided by a value-driven mindset, helping our customers achieve measurable outcomes, whether it's through long-term engagements or faster focused initiatives. We have a really strong track record as well in ERP, which we've enhanced over 5 years through business process management expertise, giving our clients sort of a full spectrum approach to transformation. And ultimately, we're working towards partnerships with our clients in which sustainable value is created for and with the businesses. On the next slide, you can see that this webinar is part of a series of webinars. This is not the only webinar we have. So if today's session sparks your interest, I encourage you to explore our related webinars, which delve deeper into specific topics, such as operational excellence with SAP Signavio, business transformation, relating this all to the supply chain, sort of from left to right. We've got one there on how SAP Signavio drives operational excellence and supports SAP S/4HANA transformations. Then we've got one on exploring synergies between extended warehouse management and transport management for a connected supply chain. And on the right, understanding the collaboration between SAP Signavio and SAP LeanIX in enabling efficient business transformations. And these are all webinars from this year. And like this webinar, which will be recorded, are recorded and are available to stream on demand by scanning that QR code on the slide there. Yeah, so you'll find these and more available on the QR code, showcasing the breadth of what's possible when combining Signavio with SAP S/4HANA and other tools. So from here, I'll hand over to Matthias, who will be exploring how supply chains are influenced and challenged before we go into the nitty-gritty details of how Signavio can actually help you with those. So thank you. Over to Matthias.
Yeah, thank you, Emma, for the introduction. Before we go into the details of today's topic, supply chain intelligence, we actually want to discover what the challenges are currently in supply chains. Why are we doing this? Because it helps us to tailor the solutions and our approaches to the actual problems and challenges. So we see here a number of challenges, very macro level challenges, and we just quickly go through them with you and also highlight what this has to do with business process management. So on the left, you see that a lot of challenges and a lot of supply chains are challenged with the need to increase efficiency, reduce cost. I think this is a common pattern over many years already, that you need to decrease your costs that you spend on logistics, that you get through the purchases you do. And the need here is simply to automate more and more over time and be able to increase your efficiency. Key points here that have to do with processes are then a process analysis component to actually understand where you want to automate, and actually doing this through process automation. The second challenge that we noted down here is the market conditions that are very challenging and become more and more challenging over time, actually. On the one hand, you have volatile customer demands. The customer is actually demanding more and more, like shorter delivery times, for example, cheaper delivery costs. At the same time, you have supply chain disruptions globally through conflicts, through trade barriers. So from both ends, supply chains are challenged. And what you actually need to achieve is that you gain process control. You need to be able to understand and control the supply chains, and dashboards is a means that we often faced with that can really help here. And also variant control. So to be able to understand what kind of processes you're dealing with in your system and in your environment, how these processes are maybe different based on different geographies or different business units, and to control them. The third main challenge is the need to ensure process compliance. That is mainly driven by regulatory and legal requirements. For example, the Supply Chain Due Diligence Act. We simply need to make sure that you have the control over a supply chain and that you understand what's happening and that you adjust the supply chain where needed. And the keyword here is informed decision making. And on the one hand, that leads to the fact that you actually need to be able to design the processes in that way that they are compliant, that they work for you. But you also need to ensure that governance is enforced throughout conducting those processes. And process transparency, obviously, is also a prerequisite that is needed to even start with that. The last main challenge is to strengthen the competitiveness. So once you've done all the requirements basically that are imposed to you, you also want to compete in the market. You want to strengthen your position in the market. And we just see that the market is mainly driven by a drive towards more digital technology. You need to stick up with that, and you simply are forced to think about solutions like digital platforms for operational excellence, such as Signavio, that help you integrate those new technologies into your company. And one thing we also point out is process management 4.0. So basically the next step in your process management, going from pure process documentation, which you might already be doing, to a platform that actually enables you to integrate new technologies such as AI into your process management. So these are challenges on a very high level. They might be applicable to some of you maybe not so much, but they show what the market is currently doing. In order to then actually narrow down the scope that we look at when we deal with tools at Signavio, at Westernacher, we are using personas. So example roles that help us to really tailor those challenges to specific roles in order to then address those challenges with the specific tools. Two roles we brought with us here today. The one is Tara, the supply chain manager, who currently is engaged in an initiative to increase efficiency in the supply chain by overall reducing the logistics costs. On the other hand, we have Oliver, the warehouse manager, whose goal is to ensure smooth operations and to harmonize warehouses. So two roles here, both interested in analysis components for their day-to-day jobs related to supply chain activities, but with a different angle. So Tara is more interested in sort of quick insight. She likes dashboards. She needs to have an overview of the overall supply chain, and the main goal is here really to uncover inefficiencies across the whole supply chain in order to reduce them. On the other hand, Oliver is interested in abilities to really drill into specific issues. He wants to really harmonize warehouses and have the ability to uncover root causes for specific smaller issues. And in the course of this webinar, we will have a look at how Signavio can help you with those two, or can help Tara and Oliver actually with those two challenges. So we've come across Signavio for already in the webinar, and we've mentioned it a number of times. But what actually is Signavio? Signavio is the only end-to-end process transformation suite on the market. What does this mean? It's the only end-to-end tool that can help you with everything process related, from process analysis to process design, to process documentation, to process rollout. And the ability to combine this all under one roof is really unique. On top of that, because it's part of SAP, it has a strong linkage to ERP, which really sets it apart. Next, we will go into more detail and show you what this suite consists of. Basically, you can structure the suite into three main parts. The one on the left is the understand part, that's consisting of process analysis and mining components. That we have the design part in the middle. That's for process design, for process modeling, for keeping the single source of truth of your process landscape in your company. And on the right side, we have the improve component, which is characterized by such things as process governance. So really the rollout of processes and ensuring that what you roll out is also governed, it's managed, and it is what you envisioned to roll out. And then we have the component of SAP Build with process automation that really helps you to support this rollout with easy, low-code, no-code process workflows. Today's focus will be the understand part, so the process analysis and mining components. On the one hand, process insights, and then also process intelligence. Should you also be interested in any other components, always feel free to contact us after the webinar, and we can also go into these other components in more detail. So how can process insights and process intelligence be characterized? You see here the distinction of them. On the top, we have Tara, who likes to work with process insights. Why is that? Because she would like to gain quick insight into supply chain processes. She doesn't want to configure dashboard. She wants a pre-built solution that really helps her to quickly dive into the to inefficiencies and to really detect the high impact areas of improvement. On the bottom, we have then Oliver, who uses process intelligence. And here the main reason for that is to uncover root causes into warehouse bottlenecks. So he has more complex processes, more tailored processes, and he really needs the ability to dive deep into them and uncover really the reason for certain issues in the warehouse. So we're using those two tools. We'll highlight how these two tools work, but the best tools don't help you if you don't have an overall approach of how these tools can actually be applied to your challenge and to your business. That is why we're using the Westernacher approach overall as sort of a project methodology. And what does this mean? So you have a 6-step approach here. The main goal is to narrow down the scope of the improvement opportunity you're looking at, to actually define the objective of your improvement opportunity, then perform the analysis, and then have a prioritized method to roll this out with a focus on quick wins. So first, you define the scope of the initiative. You choose a line of business, you choose a specific process, and you actually decide what you want to improve. Is it cost you want to improve? Is it cycle time do you want to improve? So you define this first. Based on this, you can roll out, or you can use process insights and process intelligence to perform the analysis. And here the keyword is data-driven analysis. So that's really what sets this approach apart from previous maybe guesswork, assumption-based analysis, to having data available in your system that can be visualized and analyzed with those tools. The third part is to derive the actual opportunities. You perform the root cause analysis. You then prioritize opportunities based on an effort-benefit categorization. And through this effort-benefit analyzation or categorization, you can really quickly prioritize the quick wins. So tackle the opportunities first that give you great benefit with low effort. Fifth stage is then the rollout of the quick wins and potentially any other opportunities if you have the time and the capacity. And then to monitor improvements. So it's obviously not enough to just roll them out. You actually need to measure, are you getting, are you fulfilling the objective? Are you getting where you want to get to? And to maybe steer if you deviate from this direction. So how does Signavio actually work? We've heard you can analyze processes in different ways, but what is the actual technology underneath that? We would like to highlight this because it makes understanding Signavio and the potentials a lot easier. So Signavio uses event logs to analyze your ERP system. So you have data in your ERP system that's already available. It's just basically hidden in your ERP system, and you need to utilize that. In order to do that, Signavio picks up on specific unique identifiers, which are objects you can follow along in your ERP system, such as an outbound delivery order item or a purchase order item. And then these objects are followed along through the various activities that have been applied to them. And for each activity, a timestamp is recorded. And what Signavio is doing, it takes all this data and can basically visualize those chains of activities with those timestamps and visualizes them in process flows. It's a really great way to uncover the data and the truths that are already hidden in your system. And that works with any event log. So SAP has that built in, so you can extract the data from SAP and you have those event logs there. But it also works aside from SAP. So any system that you can extract event logs from would be able to work with Signavio Process Intelligence. So now we go into the details. We start with Process Insights first, which is the tool that Tara likes to use for her quick dashboard insight and to uncover those big ticket improvement opportunities. Process Insights is, it's a dashboard-like interface, very focused on process performance indicators. And I think the key takeaway here is it's pre-built. It only works with SAP, and it only works with just standard SAP processes. And Process Insights, therefore, is really quick to roll out, and it can give you recommendations for improvement with a focus on quick wins. There's the correction recommendation, so things you can correct already now in the system, and technology recommendations, which are called innovation recommendations, which are recommendations for future technology to enhance your system. So the focus is here really to discover improvement areas, including quick wins, to quantify value with monetary calculations, and to have a transformation roadmap based on SAP guidance. Next, we will jump into the system, and I will show you what Process Insights looks like and how it can be used. So here's Process Insights, and you see the starting page of Process Insights with Tara's supply chain dashboard highlighted here. That's actually already one feature. You can build customized dashboards with these tiles where you can basically arrange the content you would like to see when you jump into the system. Before I go into the details, I'd like to note here that this is a demo environment. Process Insights works when you connect an ERP system to it. So basically, that's why we have to use a demo system, because otherwise we would just have to connect customer systems. So this is a demo environment, so don't focus on the actual values and monetary calculations too much. It should overall just give you an overview of what Process Insights can do and how it generally works. So here you see Tara's supply chain dashboard, and you can see here that she actually saved 3 process flows as favorites, and I will go now into the detail and along that explain to you what you can do with Process Insights. So first, I would like to dive into the inbound delivery item creation, so sort of an inbound process in her supply chain. And you click on that, and it guides you to the process. That is usually the main screen for your analysis. And I will first explain what you actually see here. So you have a header section of that process. You have the title of the process. You have the overall completion rate, which means how many items of the ones going into this flow actually make it to the end. And you also have a cycle time, so days to completion. How long does it actually take to run through this process? In the middle in blue, you have the main process flow then from left to right. So you see the activities, delivery items created. And then the next step here is delivery items with good receipt posted. That can look totally different for various process flows. And underneath the process flow, what is really interesting then is the detections. So what does Process Insights find? And you have here displayed various tiles. The red ones are the critical ones. These are the blockers you should look into. You have then also orange ones, which we see later maybe, which are not so critical blockers. You have green tiles, which are actually positive, and you have blue ones for information. And we recommend to start with the red ones because these are the most critical ones. And I will go into one of them, delivery items created manually. So you can already guess maybe that this is a blocker which is related to automation rate, and that you maybe create too many delivery items manually. You see here how many items of the one in this process flows are affected, actually quite a lot. And then here underneath, you have sort of the analysis view, first with benchmarks. So why is this called benchmark? Because it gives you the opportunity to benchmark different attributes or different locations or different characteristics within your business against each other. Here we've selected on the right side planned. So you see the affected cases for this improvement opportunities benchmarked based on the planned, and you can see which plant is maybe doing better than another plant, or which plant is maybe affected more by this improvement opportunity or issue than other plants. This really helps you to then reflect on this and to actually maybe start a discussion with the plant managers and to be able to focus on the plants that do it well. Maybe there's some lessons learned that can be applied to the plants that could be improved. So this is the benchmark view. You can select the various attributes to filter on this. You also have the details view. Maybe you sometimes have a guess already of what could, of where the issue might lie, and you have the ability to drill into the details here. I will jump back to the start. And the next process I would like to show is an internal process. Screen looks, again, very similar to the one we had before. The process flow here is different. And this time, I would like to show you a different blocker. We're talking about here open stock transport requisitions with delivery days in the past. And if you click on that, I would like to show you here the feature of correction recommendations. So what does this mean? Process Insights detects that at the moment, there are quite a number of purchase requisition items where the planned delivery date is at least 1 year in the past. The recommendation is that you actually mark them for deletion if they are not further required for conversion into purchase orders. And it gives you this recommendation, it gives you this impact effort analysis. And why would we do that? The value driver affected is reduced data management costs. So in order to reduce the amount of data you have in your system and all the data you actually don't need, this might be a quick way to conduct this. And another process I would like to show you, which is very interesting, is the part of stock level sellable materials. And the interesting part is here really that it's not really a process. I would like to highlight here that this is sort of an improvement opportunity displayed in like a process-like way. What you see here is the combinations of material, plant, and storage location with stock. And then over time, you have time buckets created for the last movement date for these materials. Underneath these time buckets, you then have blockers with suggestions of why these materials might not have been moved within 1 year. And you can basically drill into these blockers and understand what are the potential root causes of why the materials are lying in your stock, and basically increase the stock you have in your warehouse and decrease your cash flow. The number one thing I would like to show here is the reference guide with guided analysis. You can click on this, and SAP has a guided analysis of showing you how you can tailor this this analysis and how you can actually drill into the potential root cause. It guides you along what kind of filters you can choose in order to do that. And the cool thing is you can actually apply the improvement opportunity also here in the top right when you go back to Process Insights. And you choose that, and it really directly highlights the blockers you should look for this potential improvement opportunity. So this is a really quick one through the potentials and Process Insights. As previously mentioned, it's all pre-built. The goal is here really to dive quickly into this, into these processes, and to really quickly uncover main opportunities. So, without further ado, I will now hand over to Philip, show you more about process intelligence and how process intelligence is different to Process Insights and what we can do with this.
Thank you, thank you. So the main question is, why are we even using process intelligence? What's the goal of our process mining initiative here? If you remember back to Oliver's goal, we wanted to uncover the so-called process truth. We wanted to see where are our warehouses performing, where are they having bottlenecks. And what SAP Signavio actually does is it offers a more or less tailor-made, out-of-the-box experience for SAP Extended Warehouse Management with the focus of plan to fulfill. It brings the process mining, so-called value accelerator. It offers 2 dashboards that are coming with it. I installed both. I'm going through both of them to show you what is actually included here. Where's the potential? Where's the gain? Oliver also wanted to look at the improvement and the automation opportunities. I'm going to show you how to look at those, how to achieve those. And then we also want to see how do our warehouses measure against each other, which is also covered in the optimization. So without further ado, jumping into the first dashboard here. How Signavio likes to greet you is with actually it's a bit like a book. Like you have a few chapters. It always starts with an introduction page where it's outlining, okay, where does this dashboard come from? Like there are documentations if you want to read into how is the data handled, how are the data models handled. And there's a short overview of which pages are included out of the box. You can already see, okay, here's 3 pages. There's a few more because I added a bit just to show you how to play around with process intelligence. So what is actually coming with the value accelerator? If we click on the first page on the overview, we are seeing on the left side a few KPIs of the process. We have, for example, the average cycle time from LE loading to LE picking. If you remember in our EWM, what's the process steps we are looking at? We have logistics execution in our ERP, which is then handed over to our EWM system. So how does that look in process steps? Basically, okay, we create a sales order, happens in ERP, right? Here's then our LE outbound delivery item, also happens in ERP. And then with this short arrow, we are handing over to the EWM system, which is actually the cycle time that is written here. And then we have a few more on the discovery page. We can go through the process diagram. This is one of the most interesting, one of the nicest to look at features from process intelligence, so-called process discovery. As Matthias mentioned, how is it discovered in the system? Every time a step is taken, that step usually has a transaction code, that step has a user who's taking it, and that step gets a timestamp. Actually, it gets 2 timestamps, but the first one is more important. It gets a start timestamp and an end timestamp. Usually they are pretty much the same because running one transaction doesn't take a lot more than like half a second. And then those timestamps are gathered and put together in an event log, and then visualized here in this nice diagram. I actually put the sliders on 100% already. It's not that shocking, unfortunately, because an EWM process is rather, there's the steps we all know. The steps are looping, okay, that's good, but it's not an order to cache, which would be exploding and we would have spaghetti. This is rather nice to look at. Then the second page that the value accelerator comes with is the so-called deep dive. This is where we actually start with the mission from Oliver, right? Oliver wanted to see, okay, which warehouse is performing better, which warehouse is performing worse. So here, the deep dive for the optimization is looking at which outbound delivery order items, right? This is ODO. How are they handled? Are they completed? Are they only partially completed? Are there outbound delivery order items which don't need any picking? And then on the right side, we are looking at how long are the things taking. If we start scrolling down here, the mentioned completion rates, the completion status, completion rates are on the right for our warehouse tasks. And then first only numbers, right? And then on the right side, we are breaking that down into our warehouses. In this demo, as Matthias mentioned, this is a demo system. In this demo, we are looking at 6 warehouses, our AM, WM, EK, WS, WE, and DB, and are just comparing them against each other. If we scroll further down, we are looking at the cycle times here. First, the creation to the first creation of the warehouse task, like how long does it take to translate an outbound delivery order item to an actually warehouse task. And then how long does it take for that task to be, like for the last task to be completed and for the package to leave our warehouse. Then the next page that this actually comes with is the internal movement, which then breaks down, right? We are then looking at what's our actually status, our actually KPIs, our actually metrics that we want to focus on per warehouse. Again, with the goal of Oliver in mind, we want to compare the warehouses against each other, see our key players. And here, for example, we can see these warehouses are rather boring, and these warehouses are the interesting ones with the actually numbers and graphs to focus on. One number that's maybe important is the repackaging rate. We don't want to have a high repackaging rate. So here we would then be questioning, okay, why is WM01 having such a high repackaging rate? What's going on there? Then the third page that this value accelerator comes with, again, out of the box, this is not set up from me. This is just clicking a button, extracting data, waiting a bit, and then this is what it spits out, is the focus on the mobile device usage. Like if you think about where is CWM used, we are looking at warehouses. Warehouses are rather big. You have your warehouse employee, they are running around with their mobile phone and scanning the barcode. And every time an action is then taken through the mobile device usage, it's marked here with the orange. We have a rather very low mobile device usage in this warehouse, and we have a rather big mobile device usage in this house. Just comparing the houses against each other. Then one nice feature, maybe not too useful in EWM, but one nice feature that Signavio actually offers. This is now going into my my customization of the dashboards. There's a so-called feature, retro documentation, where you can take the steps that, if you remember, have been identified by the system. This is plugging process intelligence into our EWM, into our ERP connection, and then looking at the steps the system is actually taking, right? And now, if we want to create that as a process map for further analyzation, for playing that against our already existing process maps and then comparing, okay, where are our deviations? We can actually look at this. And here on the left, I put the process discovery again. This is how it looks when you pull all the slides down. I can pull it up again, and then we have the same page as in the overview. Let me put this down because it was looking nicer. And on the right side is the so-called variant explorer. Now I have to give you a few vocabulary. Every time a case is running from start to end, every time a process is running from start to end, it's called a case. And every time a case is taking the same route as a previous identified route, it's called a variant. And here we are looking at so-called variants. If we press the percentage button, the first variant is taking 20% of time, the second 10%. And here we have the raw numbers. And now the goal of the retro documentation page is we identify the variants that we want to focus on. Like here I picked the top 3, but we could also say, okay, the top 5 is what I want. The more variants you include, the messier it's gonna get. So let's stay with the top 3. And then what you can do once you are happy with the view that you're seeing, you can create a low touch process map. Like if we click on this generate BPMN button. And this is where we are crossing the bridge, right? If you remember back to the circle, we are looking at the analyzation, we are looking at the process intelligence. And now with the click of this button, we are jumping into the process manager. And we just created a BPMN diagram out of nothing. Out of just the 3 variants that we identified, we click the button, and here we have a low touch process map. I'm not going to call it no touch, because if you look at it and if you understand BPMN, we are missing a few things. We are missing the pools, we are missing the actors, we are missing the systems we're talking about, we are missing input, output, the documents. We are missing steps that are taken outside of the system. Like there are logical steps that are necessarily taken in the system. So this is low touch. This is a processed truth, yes, but it's not the whole truth yet because there's context missing, right? And then what I actually did, there's another page, which is the so-called conformance check. Another feature of process intelligence is we can take the process discovery, you know, the bubbles that we saw on the first page with the arrows. We can take that and we can map that onto our process map. So what I did here, I created a very easy process map. I created again, we are looking at plan to fulfill. I created two pools. We have our ERP and our EWM. And as I said, we are creating sales order item. This is totally standard, creating the LE outbound delivery and then jumping into the EWM. And this is where it gets interesting because now we can see, okay, there's warehouse tasks created, which actually loops before we are moving over. So we are creating more warehouse tasks and then we are starting to confirm them before we actually complete the picking and then it moves on. So this is something you can see on conformance check. And then if I move over, if you think back to one of Oliver's goals, he also wanted to identify not only optimization, but also automation, right? So I created one more page, and I promise this is my last page. First, to just pull back in mind our activity list, we can actually see all the activities that are taken in our process, how often are they taken, and sorted by how often they are taken. And if we scroll down, this is in so-called Sankey chart. Now, since we're looking at demo data, it's not very interesting. It's just our dialog user, but also it proves a lot of automation opportunity, right? These warehouse movement types, internal movement, put away, stock removal, are all created manually. That's why it's saying dialog. And the goal would be to have these all created by a service user, right? And one nice little feature I want to show, because it looked very interesting, is if you go on edit, you can start editing the widget, right? All of these little boxes are called widget, and you can then put here on the left, you see all the attributes that Signavio actually found, that Signavio is connecting with the process, and there's a certain logic behind these. We are tracking a lot of the ODO item information. We are tracking a lot of the sales order item information. And the one I want to focus on, the one I want to put because it looks nice, is our WT process type description here. And if I click save now, we not only see, okay, it's a stock removal, but we also see, okay, what type of stock removal is it actually that we're looking at. And if I click save now, it's saved and we're happy. And with that, my demo is finished. One last feature, and then I stop talking, I promise, is if you talk about process intelligence and if you talk about process insights and intelligence in combination, actually, there's the so-called plug and gain approach. Now, if you start with process insights to get your broad overview of the system, right? You get your little green boxes and red boxes and blue boxes and all your process flows and all your blockers, and you are happy with the view, and you now want to work on getting those metrics into the green, you want to work on getting those blockers actually fixed. There's the so-called plug and gain approach where you take process intelligence and you just plug it on top of your process insights, and it actually process intelligence then takes the data that is in insights, and now here's the limitation because we are talking ECC and S4 data only in process insights. It's taking that data and can help you drill deep into it and can help you figure out the actual root causes of those blockers that are showing up. And then if you want to go even deeper, you can then, as it's written there, SAP Signavio Process Intelligence, for any event log, you can enrich the connection that you have with insights, and you can add a second connection actually in intelligence for your EWM or for any other any other system. As long as there's an event log present, process intelligence can take the data and can put that into your process view. And now I stop talking.
Okay, so I'm here to sort of summarize what we've had today, wrap up. So this really highlights how the challenges were addressed by process insights and intelligence. So for Tara, the emphasis was on delivering rapid insights into stock levels, providing guided analysis for efficiency gains, and summarizing key process blockers to enable more informed decision making as a supply chain manager. And then for Oliver, the value came from the sort of streamlined identification of process bottlenecks, creating a really centralized view of workflows and key metrics with process intelligence, and enabling data-driven benchmarking to optimize his operations. So I think these outcomes really illustrate how technology like Signavio, process insights and process intelligence not only solves the problems, but also transforms the processes and delivers measurable value to supply chain roles. The next slide shows how this exists in a roadmap in the future of supply chain intelligence. So looking forward, the integration of advanced tools like SAP Transport Management and Process AI will continue to evolve supply chain operations. So for example, SAP Transport Management enables better visibility into carrier reliability, which helps reduce disruptions and improve service quality. Whereas with Process AI, SAP Joule is designed to continuously learn from processes, offering future-proof insights to enhance decision-making and performance. And so finally, from our side, we encourage you to meet with our experts at events like Logimat and the Logistics Summit. Those are just on the slide a list of a few of the events that we'll be at to help explore tailored solutions for your businesses. We're constantly looking into new areas that we can optimize, and our expertise isn't limited to what you've seen today. We're tackling topics like transport management and enhancing them with upcoming technologies like AI. On the next slide, there is just a brief illustration. I won't go into too much detail so that we have time for questions. But what we call the hype cycle, and this depicts how SAP Signavio redefines the hype cycle and allows us to do so. It illustrates the journey of operational excellence through what we call the redefined hype cycle. And at the start, businesses commit to transformation with a baseline understanding of their processes. The initial focus is on discovering actionable potentials, which represents the peak promise of value. And then we've got that break point where, without clear value levers, organizations often face diminishing return as long manual implementations and poor change management come into play. This is the traditional hype where the value erodes due to unmet expectations. But SAP Signavio addresses this, shown on the blue line, by operationalizing quick wins early, collaboratively designing the future state and managing IT changes efficiently. And the key is really driving user adoption and avoiding the pitfalls of poor transitions in ensuring continuous improvement mindset. And at the end of the cycle, you see that we achieve sustained process transformation, where business value is quantified and realized through ongoing monitoring, detecting opportunities, and driving impactful operational changes. Something to keep in mind, though, I do want to say that not all projects look like this. Obviously, everything is individual, but this is just an example and sort of a quick visualization of how SAP Signavio can help you achieve that initial hype and long-term process transformation. And at this point, that is all that we have to share with you today. And I am going to hand the floor to questions. If you have questions, now is the time to put them in the chat. And yeah, okay, so I'm going to get started with one here that I've just saw come through. And this is to whoever wants to answer it, I guess, but is there a possibility to jump from process insights to SAP S4 Fiori work lists, SAP transportation management work lists, etc., to view relevant SAP documents and objects?
Yes, I think that's a question for me. Short answer is no. So there's no direct way to take action in the SAP system. That has a good reason for that. We're talking about analysis components. And one key aspect is that you read the data that's in the SAP system and you don't change it or write it. So with those components, you can only analyze. The action part would be somewhere different. So yeah, short answer is no to that.
Thanks, Matthias. The next question that I got here is, okay, I'm just going to read it as if I was the person saying this. We are already using Process Manager. Yeah, so if you're already using Process Manager, are there any ways to connect Process Insights or Process Intelligence to the Process Manager?
Yeah, I'm just going to start with Process Insights quickly. So for those of you who don't know, so Process Manager is the documentation part of Signavio, where you document your process landscape, you have your process models, and you can connect Process Insights to the Process Manager, for example, through KPIs that you can link to certain activities. So you can imagine then you have a process flow like Philip showed us, like a BPMN diagram. And on this BPMN diagram, you then have live insight from Process Insights. For the Process Intelligence part, I hand over to Philip.
Yeah, actually, as I showed in the demo, you can simply, from Process Intelligence, you can click with the Generate BPMN, you create a process model, which is automatically created in your Process Manager. You just have to save it. And then the actual how it works, if you are using SAP Signavio already, you always start in the collaboration hub, and then on the 9 buttons on the upper right, you can then jump into your Process Manager or into your Process Intelligence. This is just where to find Process Intelligence. What you then can do with the process map that you generated and that you saved, you can lay them against each other to compare with your 2B modeling and see, okay, where am I maybe missing steps that I'm not thinking about yet. And then the other way around, I also showed the conformance check, if you remember back, where you take the process map that you created in your Process Manager and that you saved in your Process Manager, and you link it to the Process Intelligence through the settings, and you map the activities on there. If you want, I can show that, but I don't think it's not too necessarily yet. But yeah, the conformance, if you remember the gray map, there's the blue steps. That was the conformance check.
Thank you. I think that answers it nicely. Okay, next one. In our business, we developed a lot of custom tables over the years. Can we still use Process Insights or Process Intelligence with so many custom tables?
I just quickly start with Process Insights. So in Process Insights, it's not possible. Process Insights is for standard SAP processes. That limitation is to make it really quick. So to have these standard dashboards, to have the ability to really quickly use it and also have a very simplified and an easy interface, comes with a limitation that whatever is customized or third party does not work with Process Insights, but therefore we have Process Intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the Process Intelligence part, you can include as many customizations as you want. You can include as many tables as you want. Just be aware you should have a solid process logic behind it. Like, why do tables exist? Why do the fields exist? How do they impact the process flow? What data can be gained by including them? Because it takes quite some time to include the customizations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. Next question is, how is this better than SAP SAC reporting visualizations? Can you compare both Signavio and SAC?
I haven't worked with the SAC part. I'm not sure if Philip, maybe you have worked with it. Otherwise, we can maybe take this offline and compare it on a specific basis. But I wouldn't be able to answer this question as of now. So.
Mm.
Actually, I'm currently working on a use case of connecting SAC and Signavio, like process intelligence together. The value gain is, if you look at what is Signavio. Signavio is a process management and a business transformation tool. SAC is a reporting and analyzation of the process, but it's not for process modeling, not for process maps management. And the value gain is that with process insights and with process intelligence, you enhance your process map, you enhance your value chains, your journey models. SAC,
Nice.
as far as I know, you can't directly connect into the Signavio workspace.
And that's how you connect them. Okay, last question I think we've got time for is how long do usual projects with process insights and process intelligence take? What's the sort of minimum and maximum time?
Yeah, that can range. So we have really short engagements. Minimum time is like 2 weeks. Longer time frames. So for the quick engagement, where the focus is also to enable the customers, to enable the business through a trainer approach, is 6 weeks. But particularly with the bigger process intelligence investigations, it can also last longer, and it depends on also how many custom tables you're talking about, how many systems. So quick to respond, but it kind of depends on the use case.
Nice. Okay, I think that's all the questions that we've got time for. So at this point, I'd just like to say thank you for joining us today, and do get in touch. Does anyone else have any closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you all for your participation today, for the interest. And if you have any further questions, always feel free to get in touch with us. Emails can be found here. And yeah, looking forward to hear from you.
And thank you for hosting, Emma.
Thank you for having me host.
Thank you. Perfect. Then thanks everyone, and have a nice rest of the day.
Enjoy your lunch.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.